I'll be giving insulin via continuous infusion. So first thing I'm going to do is compare my physician's order sheet to the MAR to make sure it's transcribed correctly. So I have Bryson, Scotlan. I have Insulin Humulin R, Insulin Humulin R, at 2 units per hour, Continuous IV, it's continuous IV, and it's going to be given today now. And again, we're checking the physician's order sheet with the MAR, and we have a transcriber and a nurse signature, so it's been double verified, so we know that it's been transcribed correctly. And again, I wanted to look that it was Bryson, Scotlan, and then I have the FIN numbers because I want 2 identifiers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then they're 24 years old, so that matches up as well. Okay, so I'm going to put that to the side, and now I'm just going to look over my parenteral drug monograph for insulin regularity in my human. So it's a high alert medication, which is why I need 2 NURS checks throughout. It's an anti-diabetic. A student nurse can administer it. For the dosage here, we have IV continuous. It can be given at 1 to 10 units per hour, so we are within that range. Highly individualized based on blood glucose via continuous infusion. Maximum single dose is NA, maximum daily dose is NA, and that's again because it's highly individualized, but we are within that safe range. For IV continuous here, we're going to be preparing 100 units. We're going to add 1 milliliter of 100 units per milliliter concentration of the Insulin Humulin R to 100 milliliters normal saline. We're going to get a final volume of 101 milliliters for a final concentration of 0.99 units per milliliter. And we're going to be using a 3 milliliter syringe to draw up that 1 milliliter. And syringe which attached blunt fill 18 gauge 1.5 inch needle to draw up the 1 milliliter of the 100 units per milliliter insulin. Further looking, it is compatible with normal saline. That's the carrier solution we have running now. Potential hazards are hypoglycemia, so blurred vision, sweating, tremor, hunger, sweaty palms. So just taking note of the potential hazards there, and we want to make sure we read the additional notes, so such as using the 3 milliliter syringe to draw up. So I just want to make sure I've done that. So I'm going to put that to the side. Now I have my vial here of Insulin Humulin R, 100 units per milliliter. So I want to do the first check here with my MAR, my PDM, and my vial here. So I have Bryson, Scotlan, and we checked that before with the physician's order sheet, so we have the right patient. And then the right drug is Insulin Humulin R. I have the PDM for Insulin Humulin R, and I have Insulin Humulin R here. The right dose is at 2 units per hour. And then when I look to my recipe here, I'm adding 100 units, which is 1 milliliter of 100 units per milliliter concentration of the insulin. So I have 100 units per milliliter concentration of the insulin. So I'm going to drop 1 milliliter of this and add that to 100 milliliters normal saline, and I have my 100 milliliters normal saline here for a final volume of 101 milliliters and a final concentration of 0.91 units per milliliter, and that was again the IV continuous recipe. So then my right route is IV continuous. I looked at the instructions for the IV continuous. This is going to be given IV continuous. And the right time and frequency is right now because we're preparing it today now. Okay, so now I'm going to clean the top here, swab this port for 30 seconds, and let dry for 15. And then I have the 3 milliliter syringe here. So aseptically adding that. Some water in it from someone before, but we're just going to 1 milliliter, and that's clean there. I'm going to inject that here. I'm going to recap that. And then I'm going to have a label Insulin Humulin R. The dose is 100 units. and it's 1 ml. So I just want to label just to make sure nothing gets mixed up. So I'm going to put that there, and then I have my normal saline here. And then, yeah, and then I've prepared, I have my 100 milliliters normal saline, and I have my label here. So I have Bryson Scotlan, Insulin Humulin R, 100 units, 1 milliliter, 100 milliliters normal saline as our diluent, concentration 0.99 units per milliliter. Today, now is the time, my signature with my designation, Insulin Humulin R at 2 units per hour, and it's continuous. So now I'm going to be doing my second check with the MAR, the PDM, the vial, the syringe, the bag, and my label here. So I have right patients, Scotlan Bryson, have Scotlan Bryson hit written there, and we checked it with the physician's order sheet when we were at the beginning. So the right medication is Insulin Humulin R. We've been looking at the PDM for Insulin Humulin R, Insulin Humulin R, Insulin Humulin R. We have the 100 milliliters of the normal saline here, and then Insulin Humulin R is written on our label. And then we have the right dose is at 2 units per hour. So we're looking at the parenteral drug monograph for IV continuous recipe. For 100, the recipe we're looking at, for 100 units, we're going to add 1 milliliter of 100 units per milliliter concentration. So we have 1 milliliter drawn up here in the syringe, and then of 100 units per milliliter concentration for a vial here. We're going to add that to 100 milliliters normal saline. I have 100 milliliters normal saline here for a final volume of 101 milliliters and a final concentration of 0.99 units per milliliter. Looking at my label here again, I have the drug name Insulin Humulan R for the dosage of 100 units. Volume is 1 milliliter. The diluent was 100 milliliters normal saline, concentration 0.99 units per milliliter, and then I have the Insulin Humulin R, and then at 2 units per hour is what I'm going to be programming into them. Okay, so then right route is continuous IV. We looked at the continuous recipe. This is going to be given IV continuous, this is going to be given IV, and then I have continuous IV written there. And then right time and frequency is right now, or today now. So with that, I'm going to get a second nurse to verify that I've done everything correctly, and they're going to sign. And once they give me the green light, I can now inject my medication. So swabbing this port for 30 seconds, letting dry for 15. And I'm injecting my 1 milliliter of insulin.
Now it's okay for me to do my second check.
So putting that to the side, that would go in the sharps. And then I'm going to attach my label there. Okay, and then I'm going to grab my tubing. All the ports are closed. And this is portless tubing, and that's what we would have read in the PDM as well. It was one of the additional special notes. We don't want anyone to sneak and add anything. Okay, so then I'm just going to prime it here. And I'm hoping it does prime because these have been used a bunch. That maintains sterility. And so this has been used a bunch, but I see no bubbles, and it's been no bubbles or anything. So I'm going to add my labels. So I have insulin. I have insulin at the bottom here, and then I have the date and time. Okay, so now I'm ready to go into my room with my MAR and my label. And yeah, so I'm going to enter the patient's room with a general survey and safety check. So hi, my name is Sarah Kennedy. I'm a third-year student nurse from the University of Manitoba. I'm just here to perform your medication administration today. Is that okay? Good. And you're able to tell me your first and last name and your birthday. I just want to make sure that matches up what they have in the armband as well, which should match up with the MAR. Just give me a moment. I just want to check over your medication. So this is where you'll be doing your third check. So I have Scotlan Bryson, Scotlan Bryson, or Bryson Scotlan, Bryson Scotlan, Bryson Scotlan, and then I have the fin number matches 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have the right patient, I have the right medication is Insulin Humulin R, Insulin Humulin R. The right dose is at 2 units per hour, at 2 units per hour. And again, we're just looking at my original dose of 100 units, which is 1 milliliter of the Insulin Humulin R, which I added to 100 milliliters of the normal saline for a final concentration of 0.99 units per milliliter. Right route is continuous IV, continuous IV. And then the right time and frequency is today, now. So, Bryson, today you'll be getting insulin. We found that your blood sugar was a little too high. It was this level, say 10. So I want to get it into a lower, safer range for you. So we'll be getting IV via continuous infusion. Insulin Humulin R, you'll be getting a dose of 2 units per hour. So side effects with that could include hypoglycemia, and that's just where your blood sugar is getting too low. So if you feel blurred vision, any tremors or palpitations or sweating, please let us know. Or just feel weird in a way, yeah, let us know. Your call bell will be within reach. So we evaluated your blood sugar beforehand, and we'll be continuously evaluating your blood sugar afterwards, just to make sure that we're getting in the safe range and it's not going too low. We also did vital signs and all your assessments beforehand, and we'll be doing documentation for you afterwards. Is it still okay to administer this drug to you? Good. Okay, so now I'm going to program my pump. I have my carrier solution running TKBO. It looks like it's all set up, normal saline. So I'm going to have primary, and then Poly Guardian, and then page up, page up, page up. So I want to go to insulin, select, and then I'm going to be kind of comparing all 3 of these. So I'm putting in 2 units, and I just want to make sure everything else matches. The drug amount is 100 units. The diluent volume is, 1 ml. That matches as well. And then the concentration is 0.99 units per hour. And then I have that dose of 2 units per hour, 2 units per hour, 2 units per hour. And that final volume of 101 milliliters, which is good. Confirm primary. And I do want to get a second nurse to check everything. She says it's fine, and I always want to make sure that I would have programmed it before connecting anything to the patient. So she says it's okay. Let's just get my blue guy in.
It would be infusing TKBO, and I would be ensuring that the normal saline carrier is TKBO and flowing into the patient's saline block. And the patient's PIV site, and then I palpated, there's no phlebitis, infiltration, or activation.
Okay. And again, we got that second nurse to just verify, and I verified with myself with the label and the MAR, and just that everything was functioning correctly. The second nurse did as well. It's all good to go. Okay, and then I'm going to aseptically attach this. So swabbing this port for 30 seconds and letting dry for 15. Okay. And then we're going to press start on that. And then all the clamps are, I want to make sure all the clamps are open. And all the patient's clamps are open both ways, which they are. And we want to make sure this has a lock on it as well. So this is locked, so again, all the clamps are open, there's a lock, the patient doesn't need anything else. You're in a comfortable position, you would do your exit safety check. And then I want to sign when the infusion started and get a second nurse to do a signature as well.